This is tutorial 3 on the blues in F, and we've been playing chords that fit Billie's bounce. I'm going to play the first sequence that I showed you in Sunny Moon for 2. That's a sequence that goes to chord 4 in bar 5 and then goes back to chord 1 in bar 7 and then ends up coming back to chord 1 towards the end of the sequence. And the reason is that if you put in lots of extra chords, you need to make sure that you make those key modulations, otherwise it won't sound like a blues. So I'll show you what I mean. That's the chord 4 you need to get to, back to chord 1. I just put a few little extra chords in there, but essentially it was back to chord 1 and chord 5. The second sequence is a bit more complex. It's got a few more 2/5s, and so I'll just show you what that sounds like. And some of the things that I put in there was movement to chord 4 in the second bar. And then a 2/5 at the end of chord 4, bar 4, sorry. Just makes it sound like a stronger pull towards the key of B flat. And then instead of going straight to chord 6, I put in a 3, so chord 3 is A minor 7, 6, 2, so that's actually what happens in the tune. Whoops. There we go. And the chord 2 after that. So yeah, putting in chord 3 just gives it a lot more movement as opposed to going to chord 6. In the third sequence, I've just thrown in a few ideas of my own and a few tritone substitutions. I'll explain those as I get to them. So I've got chord 1, then I go down a tone to chord flat 7. It's basically just moving down a tone. And instead of 2/5, I substitute 5 with the tritone substitutions. That sounds like this. And all you hear really is the chromatic sequence in the bass. C minor 7, B flat altered, sorry, B7 altered, B flat 13. Then diminished, and back to chord 1. And instead of chord 6, you could try the tritone. So instead of playing a D7, I've got an A flat. So instead of this, that's what I've got. And then I go to the tritone of chord 2, the tritone of chord 5, and then back to chord 1. The tritone is literally 3 tones. So from D, we're going up 3 tones. D, 3 tones up, 1 tone, 2 tone, 3 tone is A flat. And I've written down guide tones, and the guide tones are F sharp and C, which is the 3rd and 7th. When I put an A flat in the bass, that's the 7th, that's the 3rd. And that's the same with the next chord. I've done the tritone there. I'm just going to finish off with an improvisation over these chords, and just to show you how it can make it sound a bit more interesting. And I did make the tritone substitutions there, But it does involve a little bit of practice. You've got to really be able to think of what those tritone substitutions are when you're playing. Play around with some other chords, maybe make up your own sequence. As long as you get to those key areas that I've mentioned in the first sequence, that's moving to chord 4 in the 5th bar, moving back to chord 1 in the 7th bar, and then coming back to the home key in the last few bars, it will sound like a blues. And it's quite fun if you do make up your own sequences, or just check out some recordings and see what other musicians do.